I wouldn't be able to go home again. Ever.
Welcome back to Turn the Antenna, everyone. And today we are going to be talking about Ilya Rozanov's immigration status and why he wants to get married.
Because Russia! I would not be able to go back to Russia.
So I was on Ilia and Shayne's internet. I was watching, different clips of the finale. And this clip was about them sitting, Ilia and Shayne sitting on the couch, and he was telling him how he was thinking about marrying Sevtlana. And so, they had that whole conversation. And in the comment section, a commenter by the name of Rosala D commented and said, "Just a reminder, Ilya is actually a migrant worker. He's rich, but he's still a migrant worker. And if he loses his job for whatever reason, he could be deported back to Russia. For example, if he gets outed, maybe his team will drop him because of homophobia and no other team will want to sign him in the US or Canada. So he loses his visa and he gets deported. As an outed man in Russia, I won't go into more details, but his life would be in danger. Ilya is literally risking his safety and maybe his life for this relationship." So when I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so true. So I got the Googling. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not an immigration attorney, nor do I believe that I have the know-it-all about anything having to do with immigration to the U.S. for any type of worker. Just thought that this was interesting, and I did a little Google search, and I just wanted to talk about this fictional character and this situation, right? I did like 1 year for the University of London's law school, but barely remembered anything. But the one thing that I do remember is that words matter, right? Every single word counts. And it's good to look up the meaning of every single word. And so I did a little Google search and I put in, what is the difference between a migrant worker and an immigrant? And it says here,
a migrant worker is a person who moves from place to place, often for seasonal or temporary work. Very important because Ilya is in North America for the hockey season and he returns to Russia during the summers. Or temporary work without a fixed final destination. In contrast, an immigrant is someone who moves to a new country with the specific intention of settling there permanently.
So it wasn't detailed in the show. We didn't get that far into Ilya's mindset about what he planned to do after he retired. But just going on the first 2 or 3 episodes, I was under the impression that he was going to just play in America for as long as he possibly could and then return to Russia, even though he hated it. But his dad was over there and his brother's over there. It seemed to be the step that he would take based on, what I saw. Before Shayne, of course. Based on my assumption, it's safe to say that he wouldn't be classified as an immigrant because he doesn't want to stay there, right? He doesn't want to stay in the States. And so I got to Googling a little more to find out what the visa requirements were for an athlete. So I typed in, how do Russian hockey players play in the United States? And it says that the Russian hockey players can play in the United States by obtaining the necessary P1 athlete visa. So that's the visa that they need. The process is complicated by current geopolitical tensions, requiring them to apply at the U.S. consulates outside of Russia, right? And it goes on to explain all that stuff. And one of the things that got me is they said they must meet visa requirements for work providing their elite status and clear hurdles like Russian imposed exit fees or potential military service. So it's a whole bunch of stuff that has to happen before they even get the visa to play. Well, now the stakes are different for Ilya, right? Because he wants to stay with Shayne. For him to stay with Shayne, imagine what he has to go through. So like the person was mentioning in the comment section, it is imperative that he gets a different passport, because if it is to come to light that he is a gay player, I mean, there are just so many scenarios in where this could go completely wrong and he has to return back to Russia. That would not be good for him. I'm pretty sure that Ilia is thinking about 2 things. He's thinking about the future. He's thinking that he wants to stay in North America, right? So that's the United States and Canada. He wants to stay in that part of the world because he's falling in love, or he's already in love with this amazing human being. So the steps that he needs to take to make his presence in North America permanent, he has to marry Svetlana, because to him, there's no way that he can marry Shayne, right? They're not ready to come out. So marrying Shayne is not an option. Is it a dream? Of course. But is it a realistic option in his mind? It probably isn't. And let's say him and Shayne break up, then how does he return back to Russia without putting his life on the line? We have to think about the complications and the dangers that Ilya would be in if this thing goes wrong. Not only that, too, the threat of his brother. I don't trust the brother. Ilya told him that he can have his apartment. He will set up a trust fund for his niece. And in exchange, he needs to keep his mouth shut. But I feel like if something were to happen and Ilya has to return to Russia, I think that the brother will blackmail Ilya with his sexuality so that he can get more money out of him. And the brother is somebody who is a complete loose cannon. Can you imagine him getting drunk or high one night and just blurting out all of Ilya's business? I could see it. Because he has no discipline, he has no control, and he hates his brother. He's jealous of his brother. So one of the best things that he can do is to stay in North America. It's safer for him, but unfortunately the process is just so complicated. And I just wanted to point that out because I found that to be so interesting. And I also wanted to say, I know the plight of other migrant workers, and I know that this is a fictional character, and I know that we should be focused on more important things, especially where immigration laws are concerned. I get that, but I just wanted to point this out, and who knows? Maybe, you guys will go down a rabbit hole if you're watching this, and maybe it'll help you educate yourself on this process that most countries have, And once again, I am no expert in immigration or legal matters or anything like that. I just thought that this was very interesting. If you know anything about migrant laws or immigrant laws and how it would affect their situation, please leave a comment down in the comment section and let us know if you're an expert on it. I am missing this show heavily. They're saying that the new season is going to premiere in 2027, in April 2027. I know that they're going to start filming this summer, which is so exciting. I know we're going to get a lot of behind the scenes photos. I'd love to see it. So yeah, the show was amazing, and I just can't wait for season 2. Bye guys. Talk to you later.